I'm very glad to welcome all of you in our compact, small, quite new embassy here, and I'm even more happy to invite you because of the occasion when we have Mr. Juris Kronbergs, poet from Latvia.
Of course, I have had bigger surprises in my life, but in concern of translations of my poems, this was the number one. At the end of 1980s and the beginning of 1990s, I frequently traveled from Stockholm to Riga and back by plane. I saw the clouds from above and imagined that they were the real world, and our everyday world did not even exist. That made me feel very safe. And I'm happy to see that the book can be enjoyed by small children, teenagers and grown-ups.
지금 어쩌면은 어린이만 아니라 우리가 좀 이끌리는 성인들이 그 감성을 느낄 수 있는 어린이와 성인이 같이 즐길 수 있는
산에가 오고 가도 자기 일만 하면서 흘러가는 걸.
Siinä vai nezina, kā mums te iet gadu no gada, ja nakti un iet.
이제 밤이에요. 분들 모두 검은 침대에서 잠들었어요. 몇몇만 아직 깨서 달을 내다봅니다.
Jā, tagad ir nakts. Kāds mākonis lasa pasakas mēnesim, pasakas par zemi un debesīm. Pasaku vārdi tam padara dzīvi virs zemes.
Very nice, I think. Thank you so much.
Hello, Ambassador.
Hello, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you again too. So I think it's been a year.
Yes, I think so.
Uh-huh,
We met a year ago. We
Right.
had another occasion.
Right. Actually, I've heard that there was a great event here at the Embassy of Latvia.
Yes, we had something interesting, so may I invite you inside to tell you more?
Yes, please.
Great, it's a great pleasure.
Thank
Please. So please come on in our garden. The weather seems so beautiful today, so let's enjoy some Latvian tea and some Latvian snacks we have prepared for this interview.
Oh, thank you, Ambassador.
My pleasure.
Wow.
So may I offer you some Latvian long chips?
Oh.
They are two tastes. This is with cheese and this is with sour cream and onion taste.
Oh, I see. I love both tastes.
This is quite new product. Actually, also available in shops in Korea.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
I
It
had
is,
no
yes,
idea.
Yes,
The shape is interesting.
it's innovative shape. Yes. And we have prepared also some traditional, typical Latvian herb tea. May I offer you a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Okay. Also from...
By the way, the chip is so good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Oh, it smells nice.
yeah, very strong and nice aroma. We should have some Latvian honey with this.
This is so good.
Latvians have very long traditions of herb tea drinking. We have different herb teas as environment is very clean and we have so much forests and lakes and rivers. So it's natural that a lot of herbs are just growing wild and we know a lot about different plants and herbs. So we have tea almost for everything or against everything. So if one has headache, so there is tea against headache. If one has insomnia, there is tea for better sleeping. If a person wants to sleep, there is tea for better sleep, and so on and so on. So,
It's really good.
yeah.
So actually, I've heard that Juris Kronbergs, a very famous Latvian poet, had a visit to Korea very recently, and he met with young Korean readers. How was this event possible?
That's right, yes. Juris Kronbergs is indeed very well-known Latvian poet. And when we learned that one of his children poetry books, The Book of Clouds, is translated to Korean, we kind of thought that it might be a good occasion to invite him to come to have some events and to promote this book in Korea. And then with kind support of Latvia Cultural Capital Foundation, he got also support, financial support for this trip. And he came first time to Asia, first time to Korea. And I think it was great. We had several events. One was at National Library for Children and Young Adults with smaller kids. I think there were more than 30 kids. They enjoyed this interaction indeed a lot. By the way, I have one copy of Korean version of this book here.
Oh,
So,
Book of Clouds.
Yes, and poems are about clouds, about different shapes of clouds and different features of clouds and different characters of clouds.
Oh, that's a beautiful book.
And I guess this cloud topic is very close to Latvian hearts, again because of blue sky, white clouds that we enjoy so much. We can indeed have a lot of imagination, almost like today.
Just looking at the book makes me feel like returning to my childhood days. It's a beautiful book. Could you tell us more about the author?
Yeah, he is actually a well-known author, and also I know him for quite some time because we used to be colleagues. He was also in diplomatic service, and in mid-90s, when I was quite junior diplomat in our embassy in Helsinki. He was working in our embassy in Stockholm, so neighboring countries in Sweden. So I know him quite well, so I was happy to see him after almost 20 years, because of course we went different directions. He quit from diplomatic service and focused more on poetry, and I continued. And he had published several books. He got several high awards for his books and in general for what he did for Latvian literature. So I'm indeed happy that he was here.
Ambassador, I heard that you also held literature talk on 21st of October here at the embassy. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, that's right. We had another event here organized in connection with Mr. Kronbergs' visit to Korea. And we invited here professionals from literature to have an event and to promote this book as well. So Mr. Kronbergs told about Latvian literature in general, and as he is a very interesting personality because actually he's from Latvian immigration. So he was born in Sweden when Latvia was occupied by Soviet Union. His parents escaped from Soviet occupation, and he was poet already in Sweden, but he was restricted to publish, and he was not allowed actually. His books were not allowed in Latvia because Soviets didn't allow Latvians from abroad to be advertised in some way or to become known. So he could compare how literature was in Soviet time with all the restrictions, censorship, and then how it changed when we regained independence in early 90s, in 1991. His first book was published in that time in Latvia. So he could give very nice kind of retrospective of development of Latvian literature and also tell a little bit more about modern Latvian literature where we are now.
I see. Thank you so much for providing Korean readers a chance to meet such a wonderful poet.
Yes, I'm indeed very happy that he could come to Korea and meet with different categories of Korean readers, starting from small kids and ending with grown-ups. He indeed felt very happy, and he said that he experienced very warm welcoming here in Korea, and especially recalled his visit to the National Library for children and young adults, where he was very much surrounded by kids asking a lot of very serious questions and very funny questions. So I think he left very happy from Korea.
That's good. That's great. Is Book of Clouds the first Latvian book that was translated into Korean?
Actually not.
Oh.
There are already a few which were translated before. Let me show you.
Oh, yes, please.
Let's go. This is our public space that we are using a lot. We are inviting children and students. I think that this public diplomacy is extremely important for embassy, especially for new embassy, as we moved in a little bit more than 2 years ago in these premises. And I'm really very happy that we can have a lot of different, also some concerts sometimes, small musical events, as Latvia is famous for music. And by the way, these are the books that are translated. So the first one was Martin Zutis, an event that didn't happen, which is very interesting. It is not only children book, but it is kind of learning mathematics, counting from 1 to 10. And this book was chosen because there is a special award. This symbol means that this book is awarded internationally as an outstanding children book. and this is why it was selected by Korean publishers.
I see.
And it was translated with assistance of special Latvian government program, which financially helps publishers who are interested to translate. Actually, this book and this both are with this program. And then another book which I think is very interesting is this one, which is 100 Latvia snapshot stories. This is what our embassy actually did to bring some information to Korean readers about Latvia, but we didn't want to ask or to make real it as a documentary publication, but these are just ordinary people writing 100 different stories about what they love, what they eat, what they think. So for example, this is what I told about Rungali Palace.
I love how the stories are organized.
Yes. And our embassy, we sent this book to all public and national libraries all around Korea. So every library
should have at least one.
Not depending if they wish or not, we just sent it. We just sent it to all the libraries. So I hope they have, and we are planning now to send it also to university libraries.
Now we are back in the garden.
Lovely weather.
It is. I don't think there are any Korean books that were translated into Latvian. Do you have any plans to introduce Korean literature to Latvians?
Honestly saying, yes, I love reading myself, and I discovered that there are not so many, actually none, of Korean books translated to Latvian language. Of course, Korean literature is accessible for Latvians, as we can read also in English or in Russian, a lot of people. But it's always easier and better if one can use native language when reading books. And whenever I have chance, I am trying to convince Korean institutions that it is essential to publish something also in Latvia for Latvian readers who are interested about Korea. Taking in consideration that we have now these 3 children books and then one more book which was published by our embassy about Latvia, I think it is changing situation very much. And these books are one can buy them in bookstores or read in the library, and I think after reading there is definitely interest to either to learn more or to visit, and it brings both countries closer.
I hope there's an enhanced exchange of literature between the 2 countries so we can understand each other's culture better. Ambassador, you are the first Latvian ambassador to Korea.
That's right, that's right.
And it's been about 4 years, right?
Already, yes.
You must have made a lot of plans, and how are those plans going so far?
Yes, we made a lot of plans, and I think some of them are already successfully fulfilled, and we have more plans. In 2 years, 2021, Latvia and Korea will celebrate 30th anniversary since we established our diplomatic relations back in '91. So I really hope that like last year was important because of 100th anniversary of Latvian Pyeongchang Olympics, and we could bring our bilateral relations to much higher level. I really hope that then year 2021 will be another milestone in our relations, and when we can, with kind of celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relations, we can again reach new level in our relations. These are kind of big plans, and then we have a lot of plans which are related to public diplomacy. We will still continue this kind of almost non-stop campaign to promote Latvia in Korea through arts, photography, music, literature. So we have quite a lot of ideas what we want to do.
Bilateral exchanges between our two countries are absolutely growing, but I knew that there was no direct flight between our two countries. But thanks to your efforts, I've heard that now there's a direct flight between our two countries.
Partially. We don't have yet commercial direct flights between Latvia and Korea permanently, but this summer we had very successful charter flight project in collaboration with our Korean partners. First 3 direct flights took place directly from Incheon to Riga, which is actually the shortest distance from Korea to the European Union, kind of entry point. And I would like to say that this year's charter program was extremely successful because 97% of seats were sold out. It basically means that maybe one seat in one plane, each plane was not sold out. So due to this success, we are again talking and planning that this program may be extended next year and not anymore only with 3 flights, but maybe with more flights. So in that way to bring Korea and northern part of the European Union much closer, and our people to bring them much closer.
Who usually uses this flight service?
For this charter flights, it was purely a touristic package. So basically it was touristic package, and they had several options to visit all 3 Baltic states. So basically charter flights were landing in Riga, and then they had a program, 1 week-long program to visit all 3 Baltic states with different packages depending on interests.
I see.
But I really think that due to different activities, general interest will also grow. And if this general interest will grow, it means that also business will grow. And then we can facilitate more and more the turnover of people, and definitely also then in that case achieve regular commercial flights.
Ambassador, if I were in Latvia, what are some must-sees?
Wow, it depends how much time will you have. You need at least few weeks indeed to enjoy a lot of diverse attractions that we have. But I think that this kind of mixture of very long traditions and history and modern things is extremely attractive. For example, we have hundreds of old castles in Latvia, ruins or renovated castles. We have one of the most beautiful palaces in all Northern Europe is located in Latvia. Famous architect Rastrelli, he is the same architect who built Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, but Summer Palace is in Latvia. And the Summer Palace was built just 30 kilometers away from Riga with fantastic rose gardens, and it's very often called as Versailles of Latvia, so of Europe. One who loves, and it's more and more trendy, is kind of enjoy slow food, slow life. It is, I think Latvia fits perfect with around 2,000 lakes, 3,000 rivers, forests all around. One can just go to a small private lodge and enjoy nature all around, maybe not to see any person. So depending on interests, we can offer very, very diverse programs. Is it food lover? Is it culture lover? Is it nature lover? So everything can be adjusted.
Someday I would like to visit.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome indeed.
You must have lived in many different places and nations and cultures. What is your philosophy as a diplomat?
First thing I would like to say is that indeed the key word what you said is different, and different means that there is no better or worse. They are just different, and to be successful, first thing I think is you have to accept this difference and then to try to find how these differences in thinking or in culture can be utilized to build friendly and good relations. So I think this is the most important.
That's great philosophy.
Thank you.
Ambassador, thank you very much for your time today, and we're really looking forward to your future activities to bring our two countries even closer.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine, and I just want to use this opportunity also to encourage all spectators to learn more about Latvia and also visit Latvia when it is time for them to do it.
How do you say goodbye in your language? Please teach me.
Uz redzēšanos. Uz redzēšanos direct translation means see you again.
Okay.
So redzēt is to see, and uz redzēšanos, so we will see each other again.
So whose redzēšanos?
Uz redzēšanos.